And now on Radio Looe, I have great pleasure to speak to one of Looe's formidable characters, and that's Mr. Julain Peck, who used to run the Fieldhead Hotel, but he's recently sold it. So, Julian, how are you?
Hello, Neil. Delighted to hear from you. I'm very flattered at your introduction. How lovely. Thank you so much.
Everybody knows you, Julian. So you sold the Fieldhead Hotel, I believe.
In October. I've been there about 15 years. Took over in 2006. And yes, unfortunately, it's no longer a hotel now. It's being converted into apartments or townhouses or something.
Right, okay. So obviously it was the Fieldhead that brought you to Looe. So why did you choose Looe back in 2006?
Quite simply, I'd been between hotels for a couple of years, and I'd been the length and breadth of the country looking for hotels, and it was the final weekend, and I said to myself, I've really got to make a decision. I can't keep looking and keep saying no. So finally, it was a planned trip of about 5 hotels along North Coast Devon, North Coast Cornwall, and back along the South Coast. And actually, this was the last one of the trip. And quite honestly, as I was coming into Looe, I don't want this. And then you go past where Nelson is now, and it was up and down and around. And then I got to the drive, and it was like Everest. And anyway, I climbed the stairs, and as I was crossing reception, I looked to my right, saw the sea view, and in a millisecond, I changed my mind.
Yeah, more or less exactly the same what happened with me, because we got a B&B stroke small hotel, and I chose Looe because it's a living town, with schools, and because a lot of these Cornish towns, they tend to close down in the winter, and Looe seemed to me like a place that had a little bit of a buzz about it, and I did the same, because we've got a steep drive, and as soon as I saw the view, I said, right, this is it.
I'm well familiar with Cornwall. In fact, I have a brother who had a cash and carry in Falmouth in Penryn for like 30 years. I was brought up in Devon. So our family home is at Morton Hampstead up there on Dartmoor. I'm well familiar with Cornwall. To be quite honest, I did pick my brother's brains about the seasonality, and I just didn't appreciate how seasonal it was. And to me, hotels don't close. If you close during the winter, you go into a different bracket. And just being a proud old sod that I am, I just stayed open, come what may. And I used to say, summer is profit, winter is service. But it was enough to see me through. And yeah, I was very happy here. I've loved Looe. I've only been here a few months, and it was a World Cup final night. And a mate of mine and I, we were down in Looe. We just had something to eat in the Sal, and we went over to the ship, and there they had the World Cup final up on their television, and there across the room was this lovely, lovely young girl surrounded by all these guys, and that was my meeting with Jill.
Oh, fantastic.
And he has been the most amazing person, and of course she's a marvellous mother, and so that's where schools and scouts come into what Looe has.
So do you mind if I ask you a few bits about your history, because I saw on your Facebook page that you worked at the Dorchester once.
Oh, I did. When I left school, Neil, I had not a clue what to do. And in fact, yes, I went to the Dorch, and in those days I was earning £8 a week, living in London, working at the Dorch. And my fellow students were earning in the region of £25 a week, right, living down here during the holiday season in Cornwall and Devon.
Right.
And I said to Mum, what's this? She said, don't worry about the money. Money will come. And to have the Dorchester, Brown's Hotel, and the Mayfair on my CV, I walked into any job I wanted. Really stood me in fantastic stead. In my view, it means that Julian can walk into a kitchen and he can use a knife without chopping his hands off.
I can't.
He can go into a restaurant and he knows how to lay a table.
Yeah.
And then, of course, at the Mayfair, I started as trainee manager and ended up as a junior manager, managing the Mayfair coffee shop. And then I went to sea for a couple of years with Union Castle. There were 5 or 6 ships. They were all RMS, Royal Mail Service, taking the Royal Mail from the UK to South Africa.
Right.
And that was their sole purpose in life, was the Royal Mail. That was their contract. But they also, of course, took cargo, lots of cargo, including billions of pounds worth of gold. For one trip, for instance, the crew did get into the gold bullion and stashed away some bars of gold. Very cleverly, they had hidden it, and for a good number of trips, they got away with it. I mean, they didn't move the gold. They were obviously just waiting for some opportune moment to get it all out.
Okay.
And it could have been that they were waiting for the ship to go to the breaker's yard, for instance. I don't know. But Scotland Yard police and South African police, everybody swarming over the ships for like the next 2 or 3 trips. They were 6-week round trips from Southampton, Las Palmas, Cape Town, Port Elizabeth, East London, Durban, and the same all the way back to the UK. And over that time, somebody spilt the beans in the crew bar, and they got it all back.
Oh, right, that was it. Game over.
And then I went to South Africa, a place called Plettenberg Bay, which is a little gem, now very popular resort.
Right, and then I heard you went to Rhodesia, or Zimbabwe as it's now called. Was that in hotels as well?
Yes, I prefer the name Rhodesia because it dates me.
Yeah. You're not that old.
I'm not that old. No, I'm older. I was there during the War of Independence and all that. There I had an amazing breakthrough. I started the brand new hotel, one of the group, it was a group of 13, and I started in the what they call the Eastern Highlands in Umtali as a senior assistant manager or something like that. And then one day the operations manager came in and he sat down and he said, "Julian, how would you like to go to be general manager of Elephant Hills?" Well, this is a job made in heaven. I mean, you could not have put me on a higher pinnacle in all my life. It was the flagship of the company, 13 hotels at Vic Falls, and I'm sure there are people here in Looe who have been to Vic Falls, and I'm sure they would recognise the place. I mean, ultra 5-star and 24-hour a day immediate room service.
Wow.
And then of course there was also no, it wasn't 24-hour day casino, but certainly all night casino. When it comes to the war, I did see Rhodesian forces. They used to come into the hotel to play the casino, and they parked just parked their guns up in reception. Just left them there. I mean, there's nothing unusual about that.
Right.
Then I went on to Dubai, general manager of the Dubai Country Club, and in fact there are people here in Cornwall who know me from those days.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. No interview with the mighty Julain Peck would be complete without asking about Alex Polizzi. Did you enjoy that experience?
Yes, I did. I thought she was great. People seem to think that I got a hard time from her. There are those who said she rode over you or something. Not as dramatically as that, but she didn't at all. I still got that tariff. And the toast business.
I always take the mickey out of you with the toast, don't I?
The toast business on the balcony breakfast flipping menu.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these programmes, it's the way they edit them.
It wasn't editing. It was not wanted to be understood why toast was not on the balcony breakfast, and it was simply a space thing.
Yeah.
If you got toast and you want butter and you want side plates and you need the spanners to go with it. Anyway, it was fun. It was fun. I loved it. And to be honest, I mean, every single day Looe looked absolutely fantastic.
Well, you certainly put Looe on the map with that, didn't you? You certainly put Looe on the map.
If it helped to do that, that's honestly, at least it was advertising the area. And the same with Polizzi, to be honest. You know, I really hope that people did benefit from the programme because they saw Looe, they saw us out on the boat. To be honest, I'm not sure that we benefited terribly, but I hope Looe did. Yeah, it was a great experience,
right.
And no harm, no aggravation, and I felt if it didn't do us good, hopefully it did Looe good. Yeah.
Julian, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and I hope you're coping with the family and the lockdown, and let's hope that life gets back to normality soon. It's been a real pleasure to actually spend some time listening to your story.